Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Awareness Laws. This here is the Master Manifester. This here is the teacher of the law of assumption. What a beautiful day again it is to see you in my channel. What today's topic is about is very important because this is where most people will begin to learn about the law of assumption and how the law of assumption works to their disadvantage. What causes the law of assumption not to be effective is the inconsistency of you living in your assumptive state. So basically, what causes inconsistencies in using the law of assumption? First and foremost, what is the law of assumption? The law of assumption is a spiritual concept of whatever it is that you assume yourself to be, you already are that which you assume yourself to be. So what will make the assumption that you are currently having not to come to fruition? There's many factors. I'll get into those factors, but the most important thing is if you don't even understand what the term the law of assumption means, how this affects your life. If you don't understand what it means, it's you being a certain person. So that's the first thing that you've got to actually look into when you are applying the law of assumption. All right. So what also now you have to realize is this. Okay, it is a state that is immediate. Any assumption that you have is an immediate state. Okay, so before you use the law of assumption, understand this, that assumptions become your reality, and an assumption, a state can be entered into automatically, immediately. If you have not been able to understand that basis, I wanted to have a rhyme. If you have not been able to understand the basis of the basic meaning of the law of assumption, then you are bound to be inconsistent in your assumptions, because you think that there's things that you have to do before you enter into the state. A state is a choice, guys, of entering into the stage, of entering into the state. Say now I want to be in love with this particular person. So I enter into the state of being in a relationship. I groom myself immediately. I take care of myself. So you've got to understand that it is immediate actions, guys. Immediate actions and immediate life transforming actions into your assumption. It's the illusion of time, in fact, that causes people not to be able to effectively, persistently stay in the state of their assumption. So let me get into just something that I researched about. They say here in this research that there are internal factors and there are external factors, right? Fine. So the internal factors have basically, in a nutshell, have got to do with your perception of you know of yourself. If inwardly, that is the faith that you hold about yourself in the assumption, all the inward works, your beliefs that you hold, your innermost knowledge of who you truly are within yourself. If your self-perception is not good, you're going to have a problem with being persistent in the law of assumption. And if you are expressing another emotion that is against your assumption, you're expressing opposite. You're expressing hate, but you are in a love relationship. But you are hating, you have hateful thoughts that are working you up and you are entertaining them. So your perception. So your perception, how you feel, your emotions, and what you believe, your self-talks, your emotional states have got to be in alignment. If they're not in alignment, you are bound to do what? To be inconsistent in your assumption. And then let's talk about the external factors. External factors could be the only external factor that could be affecting your law of assumption, of course, is the cause is the internal factor. Because with the law of assumption, the external factors are changed by the change of your perceived self using these internal factors. So when inside of you, you're not you haven't changed the perception of who you are, then the environment is going to affect your assumptions. Because you haven't changed inside, you're going to be affected by the environment, by the people that are living in your neighborhood or where you are, because you'll be externalized. The fact that you are externalized will affect your assumptions. Yes. The fact that you're looking for answers, you have to identify your assumptions in the three-dimensional world. You don't have to look, because whatever you consciousness is creates the three-dimensional reality. So whatever you are aware of, you're going to see. So when you externalize things and you start looking for things, and you start looking for validation from people, all those things, then you begin now not to be persistent in your assumptions. So habits as well, the daily habit, I don't know, in fact I just made this a summary, like I changed everything, whatever. But basically your practical, ways of doing things, your practice, your life practice, how you live your life, how you view the law of assumption itself. Is it only working if it's reflected in the three-dimensional world? When you are visualizing, do you have conflicting ideas? The practical side of the inner self-talks that you're having, are they contradicting? Are you hating yourself while you are professing to be in love, for example? So that's where now the practical factors come into play. The habits that you have, your behavior, is it in line with your assumption? Because if it is not in line with your assumption, you'll be inconsistent in practicing the law of assumption. And lastly, spiritual factors. Who are you? Who do you identify as? Do you trust in what you believe? Do you trust in yourself? Do you have a universal idea of life? The innermost being that you are, and the concept that you are, the truest concept that you are, that you see yourself as, will affect your assumption. So it is very important for you to know that within yourself you have an identity that is a universal connection. So the illusion of separation, that things are separate from you, that people are separate from you, objects are separate from you, that God is outside of you, it will affect your assumption. You won't be able to be persistent, because your mind will not be connected with the universal vibration that is the true reality in all respect. So these spiritual factors also are very important for you to understand the natural laws. Whatever you do comes back to you. So if you're just acting anyhow, you're going to be affected by the assumptions. If you're not following the personal or the character traits of the version of the person that you are, then you're going to be affected by the laws of karma. So you have got to understand the universal laws and how things go, the laws of the universe, laws of non-resistance, and your innermost intuitive abilities. You've got to be in total alignment with just how life is at its original state. And you have to understand the true way life plays out, not what you think, but what is. For example, the law of karma, as we all know, the law of gravity, as we all know, the law of love, interdependence, reciprocal relationships. It's what the world needs. The law of consciousness, one consciousness, is what we are. So, guys, I just want to let you know, these are the things that are stopping you guys from experiencing your assumptions. But basically, it's basically just the basic thing is just the understanding of the law of assumption. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day and understand what the law of assumption is, and get into that state immediately.